Hello and welcome to PMP Privy Exam in a nutshell. I am Mohammed Radi, Director of Project Metrics Solutions. Our methodology to follow the processing group, not to follow the knowledge area as you see it in the PMP guide. So we started with the initiating and then we're going to go for planning till we finish up to the closing process group. The last sessions we started with the initiating process group and the planning, and this time we are going to talk first about the execution process group, but we are going first to talk about tasks that PMI added two tasks, so the total number of the task 7. And all these tasks designed just to accomplish the processes. So the task is different than the processes. So these tasks to accomplish the processes in the executing process group. So mostly it is about how to develop, execute, or implement what you have done in the planning. So you're going to follow what's have done in the human resources, procurement management plan, quality management plan, change management plan, risk management plan. So all these tasks that to develop all the 8 processes in the executing processing group. What are they? The processes, it is made up of 8 processes. Think of it as implement or do step. The purpose is to complete the work defined in the project management plan to meet the project objective. What are the processes? They are 8. Started with a direct and manage a project execution, going up to the manage stakeholders. So in the, as you can see that the executing process group, we're going to start with the direct and manage project execution. It is covered only the, as you see here, it covers 5 management areas: human resource, communication, quality, procurement, and the stakeholders. As you can see here, you are not going to find the execution in the scope, the schedule, the cost, and risk management. So uh, that's the executing process group cover everything in the knowledge area except the scope, the schedule, the cost, the risk. Why is that? Because mostly the scope, schedule, the cost, risk deal with numbers. But the others here with the procurement stakeholder, it is administrative work. So let's start with the direct and manage project execution. So we have here the purpose of when you direct and manage a project work. It is the purpose is execute the work defined in the project management plan to achieve the project's objective. It guides you to implementation of approved change because you are dealing with preventive action, corrective action, or defect repair. You, I'd like you to focus only on the output here because this is going to be, you're going to see it all the time in any executing process group. So you see the deliverable, the work performance change, the approved change request, the change request. So this is the major output of any process in the executing process group. Now let's start with the quality. The quality here, it is perform quality assurance. It belongs to the project quality management. So if you look at the quality management, it's you find it is according to the PMBOK guide. You find the first you plan, then you perform quality assurance, and then you control it. So we are focusing only on the executing process group. What the purpose? It is auditing, administrative work. It is you have to provide confidence that the project will satisfy the need for which it was undertaken. What the output here is a change request. So it is the major outputs here for perform quality assurance, change request, deliverable, and the change log. Any change you have to document it in the change log, whether it is rejected or approved. So then after we finish with the quality, as you see here, I'm not going in order. It is not going to, as in the executing process group, you can start with anything had the more potentiality for risk. So it is not ordered as we did in the planning. So the next step here, we are going to talk about the communication, and it belongs to chapter 10, communication, project communication management, and it belongs to the communication management, project communication management. It is to manage. So you go to chapter 10 to achieve what's related to input and output. What the purpose? To execute the communication plan and distribution of information. You update the stakeholders, team members, the sponsor in a timely manner. You respond to unexpected requests for information. So what's the inputs, the outputs? You find the inputs here, and the tool and technique and the project. Please go to page 302 and familiarize yourself with the expression. Now, finish the communication, finish with the quality. So let's talk about the stakeholders. The stakeholders here belongs to chapter 13, so where you are going to manage stakeholder engagement. So it is belongs to 4 steps in the project stakeholder management, but we are focusing on the manager stakeholder engagement. What the purpose of it? The project manager in this process is responsible to ensure that issues are resolved with appropriate stakeholders and document his finding in an something called issue log. This issue log is part of the project documents. The project manager has to deal also with a change request to product or project, taking care of the preventive or corrective action for communication to the stakeholders. The project manager has to update the stakeholders management strategy, stakeholder register, and as you know from the names, it is all belongs to the project documents. What the input and outputs? I'd like to focus on the outputs issue log. Done with the communication, we're done with the quality stakeholders. Let's start with the procurement. So the procurement belongs to chapter 12, where you are going to conduct the procurement. It is the process. It is the purpose is the process of obtaining sellers' responses because you are dealing with a procurement, selecting a seller, and awarding a contract. It's also a process where the project manager updates his project management plan and the project documents. So the outputs here: agreement, resources, calendar, change request. Done with the procurement, done with the communication, done with the stakeholders. We still have a quality. We are going, the last step here is human resources. I don't mean last step. I don't mean this is the last step in terms of human resources. What I meant here, you do in this executing process group according to the necessity of any, that's what you have to do. But the first thing you have to do according to any risk touch the something corrective action. You might do it in communication, corrective action. You might need to in the procurement and so forth. So we are going now to deal with the human resources. The human resources belong to chapter 9. So we are going to deal with the 3 processes here. As I like to repeat again, the planning and the executing process here, this what form the knowledge area. So what we do here, what the purpose? In this process, the project manager will develop the project staff assignment in terms of team directory and the schedule. The project manager will also develop resource calendar. You have to update the human resource management plan to promotion, retirement, illness, performance issue, and workload consideration. What the inputs here, you are going you see the inputs: human resource management plan, enterprise environmental factors, and organization process assets. I like to look at the output, project staff assignment, and the resource calendar. What the purpose in this process of improving the competences, the team interaction, and the overall team environment to enhance the project performance. You are dealing with the human resources. You develop individual and group skills to enhance the project performance. You enhance the ability of stakeholders to contribute to project success. What the inputs here and the outputs and the tool and technique, you look at the inputs here, basically a human resource management plan, the project staff assignment, and the resource calendar. That's what you get. You get the team performance assessment. Tool and technique, I'd like you to focus on a little bit. What the tool and technique you are going to use when you develop your project team, you are going to use the intern personal skills training, team building activities, ground rules, co-location, recognition and rewards, and personal assessment tools. For the team building activities, there is a way process transforming a collection of individuals with different interests, and it has 5 stages. They call it Tuckman model. It starts with the forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. I like to memorize the 5 stages, the forming, storming, and there's a mnemonic for team building is find, storm, near, PA, which is, or Fred is a smart, neat, person, active, and active. So this is start for forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. And I like also you to look at the theory of motivations. And unfortunately, the theories of motivation not covered in the PMP Guide 5th edition. So you have the motivational theory, you have Maslow hierarchy of needs, and McGregor's X and Y, McClelland theory of needs theory, Hertzberg motivation hygiene theory, contingency theory. All these motivation, try to find out the those 5 things I told you about motivational theories. You better look at different sources. um, uh, there is other things for the when you manage the project team. It is what the purpose. It is a process of tracking team members' performance, providing feedback, and which is the final things to talk about, to focus on the conflicts management and the output change request. So what to memorize? Memorize the conflicts management, collaboration, confronting, problem solving, compromise, smoothing, withdrawal, avoidance, enforcing. And what to memorize? You memorize the sources of conflicts. They are scheduling, project priorities, resources, technical, opinion, administrative, up to personality. I'd like you to memorize the sources, which is scheduling, project priorities, resources, in this order. So when you have an exam asking you that the most common causes of conflicts on a project are schedule, project priorities, don't consider personality, but just to go on with these orders and memorize them. So the interpersonal skills, you have leadership, influencing, and you have decision making. So you have the forms of power. Look at it too. Leadership style, people who are going with laissez-faire or free to do or delegating or charismatic. So all these, please, all this terminology, try to familiarize yourself with all this terminology from different sources. So what the next video is going to be about monitoring and controlling. So it is, we finished with the initiating, we finished with the planning, we finished with the executing. Now we finish with the monitoring, and we finish. Our next video gonna be on monitoring and controlling. If you like my video, please subscribe, share, and go to my website, projectmetricssolutions.com, and go to the resources, and please download the anything links you think it is good for you. Thank you.